Hi there, this is Lily Fogelesang, Product Manager at Toon Animation, and I'd like to take a few minutes today to explain to you about the Harmony gaming pipeline. Toon has been working very closely with some game companies that are wanting to do 2D games and make use of Harmony's technology. There are a few things about the way that Harmony works that makes gaming, and 2D gaming in particular, extremely attractive to do in Harmony. The first thing is that Harmony does have a separate concept of drawings versus keyframes. So I can have one drawing throughout the entire scene here, but I can have different keyframes that will actually define the position of that drawing over time. And the first reason why this is interesting is because since I don't have to have a new drawing every time I have a new keyframe, it means that I can keep the number of drawings that I need on my sprite sheet minimal. Toon also has a concept of a hierarchy directly within the software. So when I look at the hierarchy here in my timeline, I can see the direct parent-child relationships. When there is an element that's a child of something else, then it's indented from that element, and then if I then move those elements together, then I see them moving together. So here I have the hand, and it's moving on its own, but if I go up to the parent element, which is the arm, then I can move those two together. So for the animator, they can animate in Toon using all of the tools that make it a great animation tool. You have the ability to do new drawings, to animate using a real hierarchy, and to use keyframes. But what's really interesting about using Harmony as a tool for games is how you get from Harmony to your game engine. So Toon has created an export that will allow you to export your file out to game engines. For this demonstration, I'm going to show the seamless integration with Unity. However, just keep in mind that you can also use this for custom game engines if you're doing your own development. So what happens is when you export your scene file from Harmony, it will extract all the information from the original scene file so that you can access it again later. So it will export out the drawings to sprite sheets, and you can specify the different sizes of sprite sheets that you want to use. Here's just a few examples, but you can also add your own custom resolutions and set your own width and heights of your sprite sheets for your needs. It also will export out the animation data in the XML format, which will give you a format that you can use to import into, in this case, Unity, but also into any other game engine that you're using. One of the nice things about this export is we have the ability to set the path where we're going to export our animation. So with one click of a button, the animator can export directly to the Unity project that the programmer is using so that the programmer can see the animation updating right away. We do also support the export to WebDAV system, which is a server that you can set up so that when you export to WebDAV, that you can preview the animations directly on the iPad without having to sync things in. Taking a quick look at the types of data that's exported out, you'll see there's XML data that defines the skeleton, which is your hierarchy. You also have animation data that it saves the keyframes, the drawing data for the drawing swaps, and you have separately from this the textures and sprite sheets. What happens when you're exporting out is that the first thing that it does is it exports out all of the individual drawings from your scene so that you can use these to compile together a sprite sheet. Now what's interesting is that even if you have different types of animation, like in this case I'm looking at the idle animation of this character, but if I have an idle animation and a run animation, since it's exporting these drawings first, then when it compiles the sprite sheet, it will look for all the different animations that it can find and make the most efficient sprite sheet possible. So now if I take a look at what the sprite sheet looks like, I see here that I have all the drawings atlas together. So now when I go into Unity, I can see the animated data that has been imported in here. And you can even see that I've got two different characters in this scene, and they're both reusing the same animation data. Well, what's really interesting about the way that Toon works is because you can just swap the drawings out without touching your keyframes, you can actually create entirely different characters and reuse all of the animations so that you don't have to double up on your work. So you also have the ability to extract out information from within the Harmony file that you've exported. So for example, here I have my Space Duck character, and I just see the final animation here, but you can notice that there's a cylinder that I've attached to the gun. So here's my regular character, I have the gun, and I've extracted out here just the information of where that gun is located, and it's extracting the position information so that I can use that as an input to put the cylinder on the end of the gun. So in this case, it's just a demonstration of what you might want to do if you need a locator to attach something to, and that you need to attach something inside the character. In this case, I might want to shoot light beams or spheres or something out of the end of this gun, so the fact that I can extract the proper position is extremely useful. You might also be wondering about collisions. Well, let's take a look at this simulation here. I've imported in the same animation, and there is a plane now at the bottom that the animation is colliding with. So what happens when you import animation from Toon Boom is that it will actually use the bounding box of the character in order to determine where that collision is happening. So if I select my character data here, you can see how the bounding box is structured. And the bounding box is dynamically created as the animation happens, so that you get the most realistic collision behavior here. And within Unity's 2D toolset, their new 2D toolset that they've come up with, you do have the box collider in 2D, which enables you then to get the simulation for the 2D planes. So that was just a quick introduction to what Harmony is doing for the pipeline that goes from Harmony into Unity. So hopefully you can see some of the advantages. First of all, the artist can work in a tool that they're happy to work in that's friendly for animation. And also the programmer can extract from the Harmony file all of the information that they need. Since it's so easy to do using this script, the animator can just hit a button, export out their data, and it can automatically go into the folder that the programmer needs. The programmer always has the most up-to-date animations to work with. Also, being able to extract out the information from within the Harmony file allows you to create locators that you can attach things into your 2D animations. You can export multiple different sprite sheet sizes from Harmony at the same time. And you can also reuse animation and create different types of characters by using the same animation, so you don't have to redo your work more than once. So these are just a few of the tools that make it really great to use Harmony as a tool for doing gaming. And this Harmony toolset for gaming is constantly evolving as we're getting feedback from our studio partners as well as indie gamers on how we can make these tools better. If you want more information about what we're doing for gaming, feel free to contact sales@toonboom.com. We can always set up a demo to show you more and answer any questions you might have.